Welcome to Daytime Ottawa here on Rogers TV. Let me just start off by saying, wow, what an incredible weekend here in the city of Ottawa. Tamarack Ottawa Race Weekend was just absolutely unbelievable. To all the volunteers and the organizers and, of course, the crew at Rogers TV. We had full coverage of the 10K and, of course, the entire marathon and half marathon on Sunday. So I just wanted to say a big thanks to everybody involved. It was so important for our community to come together like this. And, of course, we had people from all over the world. And boy, oh boy, did we do a great job of showing that Ottawa hospitality. And somebody that was here over the weekend stayed an extra day so she could join us in studio. Kathleen Trotter, fitness expert and author, joining us on the show. How are you?
I am so excited to be here. The last time I was here was basically the day before the world closed down.
Yeah.
And now I'm here with you in person. And I just...
Listen, we are so excited to have you back because, you know, we've kept in touch and you've been doing this virtually with us and we're so thankful for that, Kathleen, but it is a big difference being around people. And you were describing what it was like over the weekend, right? Yeah. You came here to cheer on a friend that ran in Ottawa Race Weekend.
The atmosphere and the crowds and the people, and I had my dog and everyone said hello, and I just, you know, what I said to you was I came to celebrate my friend and it ended up that the weekend was for me because I just felt so much more energized. And it's partly people, but it's also just being active and being outside. And that's why I'm excited for today, because we're going to talk about how to train for whatever sport you do and the joy that you get, right, from activity, which is my thing, is joy.
Yeah, I know. Well, and you came with it. I mean, here you were doing this as soon as the cameras started rolling. We're going to talk about golf, but you wanted to mention the fact that this is something we should all keep in mind. Doesn't matter what sport we're playing, right?
Each sport has unique demands on the body. So unique biomechanics, range of motion, and if you are not strong enough, mobile enough to do your particular sport, you are going to get injured. So let's say you're like, Kathleen, I don't golf, but I swim. Okay, great. You need to be able to get your arms up over your head to do that front crawl. So if you are watching and you're like, oh, my arm doesn't even go up here, you better start training some shoulder range of motion, right? Or if you want to play tennis, okay, you got to be able to go side to side. You got to be able to go forward and back. If you want to run, right? Like let's say you watched the race yesterday and you were like, amazing, I want to run next year. Great. You got to be strong on one leg because running requires that single leg strength. So take the principle of you have to be strong and you have to train for your sport, or you will get injured. That's the main takeaway from today.
By just doing the sport, right?
Yes.
You got to get in shape so you can do the sport properly.
Yes, exactly. And it'll help your performance. It'll help you feel less sort of rusty, but it'll also just think about this. Capacity needed, capacity has. So if your sport requires this amount of capacity and your capacity that you have is here, you're going to get injured, right? The bigger the differential. Yeah. But if your capacity meets what your sport requires, then you can play really well, you can feel strong, and you don't come home feeling injured.
All right. Well, let's talk golf. You're going to give us some specific exercises when it comes to golf. I think we're starting on the ground, right?
Although first, my partner James, who is a golfer, he wanted me to tell the world that he got a hole-in-one. And
no way.
Yes. So I'm not a golfer, you guys. As you watch this, know that Kathleen is not a golfer, but I can analyze biomechanics. So if you want a hole-in-one, you use my advice because this is what I helped James get.
Oh, I
see.
He's
very,
You're taking credit.
I'm taking
for James'
credit.
hole-in-one.
100% credit, everyone. Okay, so to golf, you need range of motion in your hips, right? Your thigh bones have to be able to externally and internally rotate. So let's test that.
Okay.
Get down. Do you golf?
I do, not well. And probably, 4 to 6 times a year. I'd like to do it more, but it is what it is.
I can coach you, and then you can get a hole-in-one.
I get a hole-in-one like James.
Okay, so thigh bones. Try this, side to side.
What am I doing? How are your legs?
Yeah, so this is internal rotation.
So I'm doing this?
Yes, and this is, so now you're internal rotation and external rotation, and you go side to side.
I'm side to side.
And your chest is out. So you can try this at home, and if you're like, Kathleen.
So you're like,
so actually,
why are you so shocked? Maybe I don't have a hole-in-one like James, but I work out.
So let's say you couldn't go, this direction was really challenging.
I can feel it here, though.
Then you would stay there and you would breathe in that position. So if you're at home and you're trying this, normally one side is easier than the other, right?
For sure.
Yeah, so you don't really have to chill there too much because that's easier. On this direction, you would hang out, you could breathe, you could do a little bit of a hinge forward, get your chest out. Yeah, get this, so this knee is a little bit too big.
But it hurts. I just explained,
It hurts so
Kathleen.
good, though.
It
That
does.
means you
It's a
need it
good
more.
hurt.
And you can squeeze that butt cheek a bit, and that'll
Right.
help go into the stretch a little bit more. So it's whichever direction is harder for your range of motion is what you would do.
Okay.
And if you're at home and you're like, there's no way I can do that, then what you would do is...
This is what the chair is for.
Yeah, so take a
You
seat.
thought I might need this.
I did.
See, like-
Full disclosure, I was like,
like-
Derek, you're going to have to use the chair. But you didn't have
I
to.
did okay. I was like, okay, I'm only 53. Come on, Kathleen.
Okay,
right.
cross one ankle over top.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is, and then sit nice and tall.
Okay.
And this is also a really good one if you're at work and you're just at the office. This is external rotation right here. You just gently press on the thigh.
Okay.
And you sit as really tall. Yeah.
All right.
So there you go. So that would
Oh,
be
I can
really.
feel that again over
yeah,
here.
so this is a great, right, because you need that range of motion.
Right.
The other thing you could do is if you're waiting for the elevator or you're waiting for your kids in the morning, you can just do some thigh bone rotation here, which again is just moving that thigh bone in your hip socket.
When with that stroke, you know, that turning
Yes.
turning motion. So you
Yes.
mentioned, you know, thighs, the inner,
Yeah.
external.
Yeah.
What else? Like, because then you've
Yeah.
got the back, right? I
Yes.
think that a lot of
Yes.
people
so
are
you need
concerned
core
about.
strength for sure.
Okay.
So you need to be able to hinge to set yourself up before you take the shot, right? So activate belly button to spine,
Okay.
right? So think about pulling wide to your hip bones.
Yeah.
Micro bend your knees, and then you would practice a hinge, like a small deadlift.
Okay.
Now, can you see how you're rounding through your back?
I can.
So stand up,
Okay.
stick your chest out, right? Keep the micro bend.
Good thing
and
I
then-
work out.
And then as you hinge forward, think about your sit bones going wide
Okay,
at the
so
back.
I'm coming like
Yeah,
more
just do about
straight.
there, and you could just hold there for
Okay.
like 30 seconds.
Oh,
Turn
I
your
didn't-
feet so
yeah.
they're parallel.
Okay.
Yeah. And so that's just prepping
This
your
is my-
core. Yeah.
my stroke.
In that, so you just hold there for 30 seconds. Again, you could do that if you're waiting for an elevator, if you're waiting for your kids, and then at the
Right.
gym you could do more of like a deadlift position. You could do planks. All that works your core, and then you also need shoulder range of motion and shoulder
Right.
strength. So turn,
Okay.
take your right hand and put it like this.
Well, no one can do that. What are you talking
Okay.
about? What?
Yes, people can, including Kathleen. Okay, so if your hand doesn't touch, right, or if your shoulder blade pops out,
Right.
you need to stretch.
It pops out. What is happening here?
It's called winging the scapula if your blade
Okay.
comes away from the spine. Okay, so now try your left and let's see
All
the
right.
difference. Okay, a little bit better on the left.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's
wonder
very
why.
common. For the most part, people are tighter in that position on the right. So that would be
Really?
a chest stretch. So you put
Okay.
your arm on a door like this. Here, I'll be your door.
Oh, I see. I see.
So like
I'm-
this, and
here,
then turn away from me.
And then I'm doing this.
Yeah. Yeah. So again,
Oh, yeah,
every time
okay.
you walk through a door, you could just put your arm out, hold that for 10 to 30 seconds. If you're on your back, like on a foam roller, you could open your arms like that.
Right.
And then you also want to strengthen
What are we doing? What are we doing here?
your
we got
rotator,
a minute left.
rotator cuff.
Oh,
so
yes,
on that
that's
right side, right?
incredibly
Because that
important.
opens that chest. So if,
Right.
since that was tight, then you want to stretch it first, and then you want to strengthen it. Because if you
Okay.
stretch something, but then it doesn't have the strength to hold the new range, it doesn't work, right?
And you need those are those smaller muscles around,
In the shoulder,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
So stretch out your chest. So, but on the left, you didn't really need that so much,
Okay.
right? So that would be more on the right.
Okay.
Now on the left, take your arm and bring it up over your head like this.
Okay.
Now, can everyone see that when he brings his arm up, it's pretty good motion, but he's arching through his back a little bit.
Am I?
And it's okay. We just want to see that what that means is you're a little bit tighter on the left side in your sort of lats, posterior part of your shoulder. So
Right.
try your right.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's a little bit better on that side, although still on that
Just
side.
a little bit. Kathleen, always a pleasure. Thank
Okay.
you so much for
We're
joining
back.
us. Really appreciate it. And James, congratulations to you on that hole-in-one. It's thanks to Kathleen, but you did okay. We'll be right back after this.